with your kids down the hall in their beds, and all of a sudden you're woken up from a loud slam and hear two criminals in your home yelling. Find everyone and keep them quiet. In this situation, what would you do? Would you call the cops and pray that they get to you in time? Or would you reach for a weapon to protect the ones you love and yourself? I personally would reach for a weapon to protect my family instead of waiting the 6 to 10 minutes it would take a police officer to arrive to save us. With me, I've been around firearms since I was a young boy. I have personally owned a firearm since I was 18 years old, and from there I've been licensed to carry a concealed weapon for the last 6 years. Today, I'll be introducing to you how responsible firearm ownership can save your life, a family member's life, or even a random stranger if you choose to help them out in their time of need. So, why should you own a firearm? For the protection of yourself and others. The reason why is, during 2011, per the FBI report, crime in the U.S. 2011, a violent crime occurred every 26.2 seconds. As defined by the FBI, a violent crime is a crime in which the offender uses or threatens to use violent force against the victim. Violent crimes are then broken down into 4 major categories. Those 4 categories are murder, forcible rape, robbery, and aggravated assault. During 2011, there were 1.2 million violent crimes, and of that, 14,612 of those being murders, and even more astonishing figure is 83,425 of those being forcible rape. As for firearm ownership, it is the owner's responsibility to always safely store and use their firearms. It is always a tragedy whenever you hear of a child who had an accident with a firearm because they found a loaded firearm laying around their home because their parents failed in responsible gun ownership and at being a parent. In 2011, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, there were roughly 14,675 emergency room visits for non-fatal gunshot wounds. And in 2010, there were 606 victims of accidental gunshot wounds that ended up in the loss of their lives. With this information being known, there is a way to help reduce the number of violent crimes and the number of firearm accidents in the United States. One great way to help reduce violent crimes in the U.S. is that violent crimes, especially the ones that be against yourself and your family, would be to defend yourself and others from criminals with a firearm. You can protect yourself and your family by owning firearms and even having a license to carry a concealed weapon. It is illegal for you to own firearms in pretty much every single state in the United States of America. Some states make it harder than others with the restriction that they have on firearm ownership, but some also make it easier. And with that, most states do offer someone to carry a firearm on their body, concealed by their clothing, as long as they are licensed to do so. And one of the easiest ways to help yourself become a responsible firearm owner is to take a basic firearm safety course at your local shooting range. In the class, they'll cover the basics of how to properly own and shoot a firearm. And some of those basic things that they'll teach you is always treat your firearm that you have here is loaded. You always want to make sure that your chamber is open, yet you have no round in the chamber. You then also want to make sure you never put your finger on the trigger unless you are ready to shoot your gun. Third, you never point your firearm at anything you're not willing to shoot. Fourth, you always store your firearm in a safe manner by keeping it stored up and away out of the reach of children in some sort of lockable container. And the most important of all is you do not treat your firearms as they are toys, because simply they are not toys. As you can see, owning and using a firearm is a responsibility that requires the owner to understand the great significance of such a monumental task. Now let's refer back to my statement about a couple of criminals breaking into your home. It is 3 o'clock in the morning, and you are home in bed with your kids asleep down the hall in their beds. And all of a sudden you are woken up by a loud slam at your front door. And you hear a couple of criminals yelling in your home, find everyone, keep them quiet. What would you do in a situation like this? With that, you can do one of 3 things. You can simply call the cops, and wait the national average of 6 to 10 minutes for the police to respond to your house. And hopefully, they'll be there to protect you and save you from the criminals who, on average, mostly will take about 60 seconds to walk from your front door throughout your entire house and find you. 2, you can grab your 12-gauge shotgun and jam around to the chamber. And whenever the criminals hear this very distinctive sound, most times the criminals are not going to want to deal with a loaded firearm in the house. And they're going to turn around and run away. And if not, you're ready to defend yourself and others if the need arises. And the third thing you can possibly do is do a mixture of the two. You can simply call the cops while you go grab your gun and jam around in the chamber and get ready to defend yourself and the ones you love from the criminals who just broke into your house wanting to do harm to you. So do not think it is someone else's responsibility to protect yourself and your family. Only you can make sure you survive to see another day. With all this, with the amount of violent crimes today, and the increasingly longer police response times, only you can rely on yourself to provide your safety, because no one else cares about yourself. So today, I ask each and every one of you to take it upon yourself to become a responsible owner of firearms and to become the one who provides your safety. So once again, no one cares about you more than yourself. And if this is not enough for you to want to protect yourself, your family members, your friends, and your loved ones, when those criminals kick in your door at 3 o'clock in the morning to do harm to yourself and others, you would simply become another violent crime statistic for us and everyone else to look at if you rely on someone else to make sure you're safe.